Welcome once again, my fellow manipulators of digital fate. I'm Richie, this is Capricorn, and today we're back at it with another standard deck tech straight out of Final Fantasy Early Access, and this set has been absolutely wild. This deck is called Omnislash because we're finally going equipment tribal with Cloud Strife at its core, and equipment is finally here, guys. This deck is absolutely bananas. I'm pretty sure we went undefeated in early access playing this deck, and it was absolutely gross. So if you have any doubts whatsoever about equipment being as back as you can possibly be, you should probably bury those doubts and check out the gameplay, because this deck is absolutely absurd, and I can't wait to just build on this as a foundation for future versions of an equipment deck, because there's so much here, guys. There's so much to dig into. This deck is just so broken. Before we dive in, please like the video. It helps me get it out to so many more people and helps the channel grow. I appreciate it more than I can possibly express with words. Thank you to those of you that have been doing that every video. It means a lot to me. Also subscribe if you're new, because I have a ton of crazy deck techs coming from early access, and then we're going to hit the ground running and do a whole bunch more as soon as this set launches on Tuesday. In fact, we're doing another marathon stream on launch day on Tuesday, a 12-hour stream from noon to midnight Eastern Standard Time. That's happening over at twitch.tv/quarantinecapricorn, because if I'm alive and I'm breathing, I'm there and I'm streaming. So join me. Now let's check out this deck. This deck is utterly absurd. Boros equipment, you're going to see it everywhere on the ranked ladder soon enough, because it's just insane. So first of all, we've got Cloud Midgar Mercenary, a 2-mana 2/1 that can search for any equipment and put it into your hand when you play him, which is already kind of nuts, because he comes down on 2 and can trade with your opponent's creatures, can hold off aggro, that sort of thing, while replacing himself with a card draw that is not just a card draw. It is whatever equipment is best for you in the moment. Just absolutely nuts. But then, as if that wasn't good enough, he's got another ability where if an equipment that's equipped to him triggers, it triggers an additional time, and if Cloud is equipped, any of Cloud's triggers trigger an additional time as well. So we have one copy of Buster Sword that we can, in the right moment, if we decide if it's the best equipment for us in that moment, we can search it up with Cloud. And if we equip Cloud with the Buster Sword, it gives +3/+2. Well, it does this no matter what, to whatever we equip it to. +3/+2, equips for 2 mana, and when equipped creature deals combat damage to a player, you draw a card, and then you may cast a spell from your hand with mana value less than or equal to that damage without paying its mana cost. If it's equipped to Cloud and this happens, you get that trigger twice. So you get to draw 2 cards, and free cast 2 spells off of 1 combat. Absolutely insane. And then, as if that wasn't good enough, we can get around the equip costs, because we're running 2 copies of Raubahn, Bull of Mhigo. Really cool character from Final Fantasy XIV. A 2/2 legendary human warrior for 1 red and 1. Has ward, pay life equal to Raubahn's power, so it's kind of tricky for them to remove him. And also, whenever he attacks, you get to attach up to 1 target equipment you control to any target attacking creature. Hey, thanks so much for the raid, Tap It and Sack It. I appreciate that very much. So a lot of times you can swing in with Raubahn and just target your Buster Sword and equip the Buster Sword to something like Cloud or whatever creature is best for it immediately without having to pay any mana, which can be utterly absurd. But the best part about Cloud is that we kind of can have a toolbox so that we can find the right equipment for the right situation depending on what kind of deck we're up against. And no matter what, we're finding absolute gas and value with Cloud every single time. It's just we're going to pivot and find different things depending on what kind of deck we're up against. And if that is something that has an expensive equip cost, we can just use Raubahn to equip it for pretty much free regardless of the equip cost, which is kind of insane. Starting at the bottom of the curve, we're running 4 copies of Freya Crescent because she's absolutely nuts, probably the best turn 1 play you can possibly do in this deck. A 1/1 legendary Rat Knight for just 1 mana. She has flying during your turn only, the jump ability, basically what Dragoons have. You can also tap her for a red mana, but spend that mana only to cast an equipment spell or activate an equip ability. So she kind of acts like a Llanowar elf for equipment, where you can use her mana to get down an equipment a turn earlier than you otherwise would, or to equip it to something a turn earlier than you might because you have access to that extra mana, it ends up being actually really important and really good. You get more stuff onto the battlefield quicker, and then after you don't need her mana anymore, she can just attack with evasion, so she's also a really good sort of platform to equip equipment to herself, because she's going to swing over all their ground dudes and connect with whatever abilities your equipment has. We've also got 4 copies of Heartfire Hero, a 1/1 mouse soldier for 1 mana with the Valiant ability. When it becomes the target of a spell or ability you control for the first time each turn, you put a counter on it, and when this creature dies, it deals damage equal to its power to each opponent. The reason this card is so good in this deck in particular, not only are we equipping equipment to it to make its power bigger so that if it dies, we're doing more damage to the opponent, but more importantly, paying the equip cost and targeting the Heartfire Hero to equip it counts as triggering the Valiant. So we're going to get that counter, and a lot of times we can set up scenarios where we can do that for free, either because we're attacking with Raubahn, or because we've played something like Bladehold War-Whip, which reduces the cost of all equipment costs by 1. So that means any of our equipment that only equips for just 1 mana can now equip for free, and we just move it across the whole battlefield, equip it to every single creature back and forth as much as we want in a single turn. So if that's the case, we could take something like a Dire Flail, which equips for 1. It comes down for 1 red, it equips for 1 colorless, gives equipped creature +2/+0. We can move it for 0 mana if we have the Bladehold War-Whip out. And so we can move it onto the Heartfire Hero, give him a counter, and then move it elsewhere, maybe onto a creature we actually want it to be on, like maybe the creature that has the double strike from Bladehold War-Whip. So it ends up being super significant, and we've only got 3 equipment in the whole deck that equips for just 1 mana. We've got the Dire Flail, which can also be crafted with an artifact for 5 mana to turn it into a blunderbuss, giving the equipped creature +3/+0. It still equips for 1, but whenever that creature attacks, you may sack an artifact other than the blunderbuss, and this creature deals damage equal to its power to target creature. So a nice little bit of extra built in if you're out of gas mana sink to get even more value out of this card. In addition, we have Lavaspur Boots, which comes down for 1 mana and equips for just 1, so that will be free if we have the Bladehold War-Whip out, and that gives +1/+0 and haste and ward 1. And then the last thing we have is probably the most important. This is Lost Jitte, a 1 mana legendary artifact equipment. Whenever equipped creature deals combat damage, you put a charge counter on the Jitty, remove a charge counter from Lost Jitte, choose one, untap a land, target creature can't block this turn, put a +1/+1 counter on equipped creature. And again, this equips for just 1 mana. So you might look at this and say, oh, he's only got 3 equipment that can equip for 1 mana. It's not going to come up very often. But because we also have Cloud, and we can always grab one of these if we need it, like if we have a Bladehold War-Whip ready to go, or whatever the case may be, it actually kind of feels like we have 5 copies of each of these, because we can find whichever one we need. And a lot of times we just need 1 on the battlefield, and to have that 1 equipment that can equip for 0 with the Bladehold War-Whip out ends up being super important for triggering the Heartfire Hero, among other things. But the Jitte in particular is absolutely absurd, because we have a bunch of things that give double strike in this. The Bladehold War-Whip, we're also running 4 copies of Leyline Axe, normally costs 4 mana and equips for 3, but if it's in your opening hand, it starts the game on the battlefield. Equipped creature gets +1/+1, double strike and trample. We can equip it for free with a Raubahn attack. We can equip it for just 2 mana rather than 3 if we have the Bladehold War-Whip out. So there's a lot of value to be had with the axe. We can get double strike from that. We can get double strike from the Bladehold War-Whip, which means whatever the Lost Jitte is attached to, equipped to, you're going to get 2 charge counters. Once for first strike damage, once for normal damage. But then it gets even crazier, because if the thing that it's attached to is Cloud, and Cloud has the double strike from the Leyline Axe or the Bladehold War-Whip, then you're going to hit for first strike damage, and Cloud's going to trigger that ability twice, and you're going to get 2 counters, and then you're going to hit for normal combat damage, and it's going to trigger twice again, because Cloud's ability makes it trigger 2 times instead of 1. So you're going to end up with 4 counters on the Jitte with just 1 combat with Cloud, and then you can use those counters to untap lands and play 4 mana worth of things if you want, or you can save the counters to make it so like 4 of their creatures can't block next turn, or you have the ability to put counters on creatures. There's so much versatility with the Jitte, but being able to potentially ramp 4 more mana and play out a whole bunch of other stuff after swinging with Cloud is just absolutely insane. So a lot of times you are going to want to grab the Jitte, and I absolutely love it. Moving on to the 2-drop slot, we've got 2 𝐀𝐫𝐞𝐬 Kha Enduring, a 2-mana 2/2 that when you play it is going to attach an equipment to itself for free. A lot of times this can come down on 2 and hit a Leyline Axe that started the game in play, which is nuts. You get a 4/4 double strike trample on 2. Just really, really crazy. And then equipped creatures you control get +1/+1. That's why this guy ends up being a 4/4 when he's equipped with the Leyline Axe. But you can also pay 5 mana to just spit out a 2/2 cat creature token. And that's really good for later on if you're running out of creatures to equip your things to. But also, since it is a cat, it's going to trigger 𝐀𝐫𝐴's ability, and you're going to get to attach something for free to that creature, which is also really, really nice. We've also got 2 copies of Nahiri Forged in Fury. This card has just been waiting for its time to shine, and it finally does. A 5/4 legendary Core Artificer for 6 mana. But if you have 4 equipment out, because of the affinity for equipment, this will come down for only 2, which is insane. And whenever an equipped creature you control attacks, you exile the top card of your library, and you can play that card this turn. You may cast equipment spells this way without paying their mana costs. That's for every single equipped creature that's attacking. So if you swing in with 3 equipped creatures, you're going to get that trigger 3 times. And if any of those hit equipment, they're just getting played for free. Just so much insane value on top of a 5/4 body that sometimes comes down for just 2 mana. So absolutely have to play Nahiri. We're also running 4 copies of Cori-Steel Cutter. This deck's really low to the ground with a lot of cheap spells, so it's pretty easy to constantly trigger the Cori-Steel Cutter at least once, every turn cycle. It equips for 2 normally, but it's a 2 mana artifact equipment. Equipped creature gets +1/+1 and has trample and haste, but it has the flurry ability, so when you cast your second spell each turn, you're going to make a 1/1 monk with prowess that this can immediately become attached to for free. So you're just never going to run out of gas. You're constantly going to make more tokens so that you never run out of creatures to attach all of your equipment to, which is incredibly important. But it's also just another piece of equipment that feeds into your equipment synergies. We've also got 2 chainsaws for removal. This is something that on first glance you might think maybe we should have more of, because you probably want 4 copies. You want to have enough removal. But again, because we have Cloud and we can dig for whatever we need, we can search up whatever we need in the moment, kind of feels like we have 6 chainsaws. So I think 2 is actually enough, but this is going to kill creatures when we play it, and then start to build up counters on it as creatures die, and then sometimes be equipped for free with things like Raubahn, and just add a whole bunch of power to our creatures. Sometimes creatures that have double strike can get absolutely absurd. Moving on to the 3-drop slot, in addition to the Bladehold War-Whips, which we already talked about, we're running 1 Kellen, which kind of works like a 5th Cloud. We can use Birthright Boon to find one of these equipments. But also it can be played as a creature afterwards, as in, after playing the adventure. And it's a 2/2 double striker, and other creatures you control get +1/+0 for each aura and equipment attached to Kellen. So if you pile up all of your equipment on Kellen, he's also going to buff the rest of your team a bunch, which is really, really strong. But just being like a 5th copy of Cloud, another way to tutor up the key equipment we need in the moment, and then getting extra value on top of it is absolutely enough and worth the inclusion. In addition, we're running 3 copies of Rebel Salvo, because it's a no-brainer in this deck. It's just so good. 3 mana for an instant, but it has affinity for equipment, which means if you have 2 equipment out, it's coming down for just 1 red mana at instant speed, doing 5 damage to any creature or planeswalker, and that permanent loses indestructible until end of turn. This thing just nukes almost anything from out of nowhere for just 1 mana in this deck. It's too good to not play. I'm only running 3 because we have to be careful about the balance, having enough creatures to equip, having enough equipment for all of our equipment synergies, and this card is neither one of those things, so we have to be a little bit careful. So I chose to only run 3. You could probably run 4 if you really wanted to, but you'd have to be careful about making the right cut in order to do it, because the balance of different card types in this deck is very, very important and a little tricky to get right. And that's pretty much the deck. It's kind of nuts. We're trying to play as many untapped lands as possible, so we've got Sunbillow Verges, Inspiring Vantages, 3 Battlefield Forges, 3 of each basic that we can find with 3 Fabled Passages, mostly to turn on the Verges without having to resort to playing like Surveil lands since they enter tapped. We really want to hit the ground running with playing a 1-drop on turn 1 and not missing out on any mana whatsoever as we're curving out, just putting as much pressure on the opponent and causing as much damage, putting them on the back foot tempo-wise as possible. One Plaza of Heroes though, because we do run a good number of legendary creatures, and this can be whatever color we need for those creatures, but it can also be a way to protect a legendary creature in a pinch, which can sometimes matter if we've got a bunch of equipment piled up on it and we're swinging in and we just need it to survive. So that's the deck. Honestly, you're going to see this everywhere on the ranked ladder, some version of this. I think this version of it is really, really sweet. I think it's very tempting to include some really powerful equipment, especially when you're able to tutor them up with Cloud. But I think keeping it as low to the ground as possible so that you can just put as much pressure on the board as quickly as possible is the smart way to go with this one. It's just nuts. Let's check out the games. I'd like to thank the sponsor of today's video, Wonders of the First. Wonders of the First is a brand new collectible card game similar to games like Magic the Gathering, Yu-Gi-Oh! And Pokemon, featuring a unique action-based resource economy that helps avoid pitfalls like Mana Flood or Mana Screw, and a battlefield containing multiple realms that unlock over time as you fight for control of the stones. The first 400 card set is called Existence, and they've even partnered with Star City Games to host their competitive play tour at every single SCG-Con event starting in August. The game contains alternate borderless art variants, as well as highly sought-after limited edition numbered prints, culminating in a 1-of-1 stone foil. And the best part is that the developers have a community-first approach with a card database and deck builder available via Cardio, as well as a version of the game available on Tabletop Simulator, all for free. For more information, be sure to check out wondersccg.com today. That's wondersccg.com. I think this is worth trying. It's kind of a bummer we've got the Fabled Passage, but I think we can make it work. We just don't have any actual equipment, but we have time to set that up, so as long as we get at least one in the next couple cards, we should be okay. And our chances of getting one in the next couple cards are a lot higher since we don't have one in hand. The density is more. Guess we'll just attack with Freya, play Raubahn, because we can. He has to target Raubahn and lose life in order to get rid of him, so everything we're putting down is still being aggressive no matter what. We got Fenrir. We will kill Fenrir. We will play Heartfire Hero. We will attack with Raubahn and equip the chainsaw for free. Play the Fabled Passage. End the turn. All pain lands up until now. Rough. Overlord, Insidious Roots. I think we're just going to be too fast for him. I definitely think we're just going to be too fast for him. We will sack this and find a mountain, so we don't have to take all of the pain constantly. Nahiri Forged in Fury. Guess we just kill this. You and you. That will trigger the Heartfire Hero and get us a counter on it. If he targets Raubahn, he takes 2. If he kills the Heartfire Hero, he takes 4. And here he is so close. We just need... We have 1 equipment. We have 1 equipment. We just need equipment, man. Well, tender. Very tender. Dude, what is going on here? I guess we just kill the Fenrir. Submit 0. Keep it on the Heartfire Hero. He has to block it. End the turn. I think we can we re-equip this? Huh. I wonder. We're gonna try it right now. What if we do that and then we do that? It actually still triggers it? That's awesome. So if this dies, he takes 7. So he has to chump block this with something that doesn't kill it. He does get to kill the Raubahn. He's scared to block with Yuna because he needs to keep Yuna alive if he has any chance whatsoever. We'll just end the turn. We got Freya just chilling, just waiting. Just chilling. Just waiting. Gorehound. He's almost got what he needs to just take over the game, though. We don't have Raubahn anymore. That's rough. That's rough. Guess we'll just play this out. So he has to block it with one of his crappy dudes. And we're definitely gonna win next turn unless he pulls something out of his butt. Osteomancer. Osteoporosis Romancer. He just doesn't have any big enchantment and hits in the yard for Yuna. That's his big problem. That's his big problem. And we've just been very light on equipment the whole game. That's our big problem. Next turn's gonna get rough, though. Why, hello, super. What you got for me? He could play one of these by exiling the other 3, I believe. Right, he has to forage. Swing for some damage. He's pretty set up. But I don't think he can stop our Heartfire Hero. He could kill it right now and take 9 and go to 1 to be safe. That's what he should do. But we still get to swing in the air with Freya, which is kind of a problem. I guess we'll find the plains. Two, 3, 4, 5, 6 mana, including Freya. It just makes sense to do this. It just does. Yeah. Double strike and trample. If he blocks with enough to stop it, he also kills it and takes 11 damage straight to the face from the death trigger. It's Mythic Mike. I love this fellow. He is hands down the best budget brewer in the world. And I do not say that facetiously. We will keep this. We will submit the Leyline Axe. We will Freya Crescent. Offer the trade. No, you don't want it. End the turn. So we can either Rebel Salvo if we have to, or more than likely we Cloud. Actually, we could also Bladehold War-Whip. Maybe that's what we want to do. Maybe that's what we want to do. I've also got Raubahn. Let's do this. Let's do this. Let's find something that costs 1. Jitte. Get that out there. Now our Rebel Salvo only costs 1, which is very nice. If we play the Bladehold War-Whip, the Jitte equips for free. Is that worth it? Well, we don't get to swing in. We could play Raubahn. Equip. We need haste, don't we? We do need haste. This is gonna get tricky. Alright, we're gonna play the Bladehold War-Whip. We're gonna set up for next turn. We're not gonna worry about salvoing the Memory Guardian just yet. No attacks. End the turn. Set up for next turn. Lodestone Needle, sure. Tap it, put 2 stun counters on, that's fine. We will kill you. We will equip you to here. We will equip you to here. And it's going to be a bad day. We're going to get 4 counters on the Jitte. Which is just absurd. We're going to untap you. Tap you for red. Untap you. Tap you for red. Play Raubahn.
Let's rock!
We are going to untap you again. Play the Heartfire Hero. And then for free, we're going to equip the Jitte to the Heartfire Hero. Thank you for the follow, Mogwai, to get the +1/+1 counter. And then for free, we're going to equip the Jitte to the Raubahn, so that if he tries to kill it at instant speed, we could put a counter on it, make him take more damage if we wanted to. We probably wouldn't, but I'd still rather have the option. Or I guess it's the same with Heartfire Hero, though. Case of the Filched Falcon. Next turn it's gonna get insane. Swing for 4. Valkyrie aerial unit. Hanging on strong. Another Leyline Axe. I think we just put Cloud out to die. Honestly. Because we can find a 1-drop. Dire Flail. Play the Dire Flail. Equip it to the Heartfire Hero to get the counter. And then equip it to Cloud. And then equip the Jitte to Cloud. And then swing with everything, target the War-Whip, put it on the Heartfire Hero. And that is a metric ton of damage. Absolute metric ton. Alright, we can keep this. This actually looks really good. We don't have access to red on turn 1. That's really the only downside here. Which means we can't play Freya out, which we would want to do. But we will do this. Come on, land. No land. 0 lands allowed. I want to set ourselves up to double spell next turn. Let's attack. Double strike so we don't die to a death touch. I don't think he realized that. We're just going to play out the Freya. And we should be able to Cori-Steel Cutter into Heartfire Hero, trigger the Cutter, do all sorts of shenanigans. Could also Bladehold War-Whip. Cori-Steel Cutter. Heartfire Hero. Take action swing. Smash. Smash, smash. You go to 3. Okay. Needs to regain a lot of life. Shoreline is not going to be enough, I don't think. Too little, too late. Can we double spell? If we cloud to find a 1-drop that we can cast with Freya, then we can. The boots. Trigger, trigger. Smash. Yeah. Double strike's just gonna completely run him over. Just completely run him over. Good game, 𝕆𝑗𝐵𝑵𝑬𝑳. 2 Leyline Axes? Yeah, we'll keep that. Gross. I think we gotta get the Cori. No. We can still do that next turn. Let's do 𝐀𝐫𝐞𝐳. 4/4 double strike trample. Magitech Infantry. What a card. Nesting Bot. So we will Cori-Steel Cutter. And then we will Freya. And then we will smash. That's fine. Double block, we kill, we still hit for 1 with the trample. All of that is glorious. All of that is glorious. Plays a Nesting Bot. I guess, I mean, this is actually kind of tricky. I want to trigger the double spell, but in order to do so, I play a Freya, and it kind of gets wasted. And we don't get to swing with the thing that we double spell with anyway. So I think what I'm actually going to do is this. Put him at 1. Nesting Bot. You're gonna need the blocker in the sky. We've got double strike and trample though. It's pretty wild. It's pretty wild. cost too much. No 1-drops is very unfortunate, but we're going to try it. Let's see what Reversal Wizard has for us. Are you a Reversal Wizard? Alright, let's get this out of the way. We will find red. I believe we have more red. And then we're going to play Raubahn. And then we probably Bladehold War-Whip and swing in with it. Makes sense to me. Let's attach the Bladehold War-Whip and hit for 4. I really want to play the Leyline Axe and just attach it, but I think it's better to do this and grab something that gives haste. Play it. Attach it. Swing. Target this and cloud. Hit for 6 there, and another 4 from each of them. Hold up Rebel Salvo. Instant speed, 5 damage. Oh, here comes Yuna. What do we got? Oh, just Overlord. We can't pay the ward. We can next turn, and all he's going to get is an Overlord, so I think we're okay. I think we're okay. I think we are okay. I would like to play the Leyline Axe, but I would also like to play the Rebel Salvo. So I think what we're going to do is go Buster Sword. +3, +2. I could equip it for 1, but I want to do this. Target that, target him. So he kind of has to block Cloud, and he's in really bad shape when he does. Okay, he's just gonna die. We get double triggers off the Buster Sword, then Leyline? Yeah, insane. Draw 4 cards, play 4 spells for free. Thanks so much for checking out my channel. I'd like to give a huge shout out to all of my patrons over at Patreon. Without you guys, this channel would not be possible, so honestly, thank you from the bottom of my heart for all of your contributions. If you haven't yet, like and subscribe. The more likes we get and the quicker we get them, the bigger this channel will grow and the faster it will grow. I'd love nothing more than this channel to become something very special for you guys, but it's entirely up to you how fast that happens. Also, if you'd like more deck techs, that's somewhere over there. And if you'd like to see what else the channel's been up to lately, that's somewhere up that way. Also, subscribe, circle below, do all the things.